Live production still comments from the Facebook Live post appear. I'll be back, okay?
So that's good. But on my Facebook, I'm not showing to be live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me look at.
Well, says we have 2 viewers. Hello. Can you guys see us on Facebook? Are we there? Okay, yeah. We are. We are live
Okay.
on Facebook. Yes. All right. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Wellness Check Wednesday. Thank you for bearing with us. This is our first time using this format, so it'll be a lot of firsts for me for a little bit, but it's gonna get there. We are getting there. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? I'm so excited today. As you guys know, I am Shema Kinchin, and today is our Wellness Check Wednesday. I'm so excited to have Lady Kim, the legacy creator, Harris. He is in the building today, and I have called everybody that I know, honey. I was like, listen, be ye available this evening so you can get your life together and learn something amazing. So I just want to share a little bit about Miss Kim before we get going here. I remember the first time I met you. It was at a Her Next Chapter event. And Her Next Chapter is a fantastic organization that serves women that are breast cancer and all cancer survivors. And you were on a panel, and you said, my name is Kim Harris, and I am the money lady. And I was like, true. And then you said, I don't want to be financially free. And I said, what's wrong with her? Who don't want to be financially free? He said, I don't want to be free of money. Okay. He said, I don't want to be free of money. I want to have money. I want financial abundance. And in that moment, I was like, yes, I love her. I'm here for it. How do we do it? And it is incredible. Your accolades are ridiculous. Like your passion for helping businesses grow. We are actually beneficiaries of that knowledge as we are building our business credit and those types of things. So I don't want to just read your bio. I would love for you to share your story and tell us why you're passionate about finances, and then also just kind of dig deep into this 5-pillar wealth creation system.
All right.
Here. She is ready. Let's get it.
I'm ready. I hear a little bit of an echo, but I'm going to ignore that, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. As long as I'm sounding good to you, we're good. Okay.
I hear you.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, Shema, for being such a dynamic young woman who is on a mission to be purpose driven. I admire your spirit and everything that you're doing in your circle, for your generation. And I appreciate you reaching out to me to share some light on some of the things that will help you to get through your journey a little bit easier and better. I stumbled into this financial services field, and it's really a full circle evolution of my story. You know, I was sexually assaulted at 5. The perpetrator gave me a dime afterwards. And that dime literally defined who I was and my self-value. It really diminished my self-esteem, and it was attached to me. So I spent the better part of my life reconciling, that incident with, knowing that there was something better, something more, something that was available to me that I didn't have access to because I was emotionally locked in prison. So fast forward to today, you talked about the distinction between financially free and financial abundance. I am a firm believer in how we language our lives to manifest the things that we desire. And oftentimes what I find is in languaging some of our beliefs, we are unaware that these are false premises. These are things that you hear and it sounds good, but what you don't understand is that if you think it sounds good and you start believing it, then that manifests in your life and you wonder why is this not happening for me?
Right.
Well, if you keep saying I want to be financially free, you're going to be financially free. So your finances is going to flee. Okay.
Yes, your finances are so free. They have flee. Okay.
Okay. So it's really important to understand the distinction of the language that you use when you're creating your life in your abundance.
Wow.
Abundance is the overflow.
Yes.
And the overflow has no gaps. It has, you don't have an experience of lack. You don't know what it means to be in lack when you're in abundance. So, even if you're not seeing it right now and you want to be in that space, you have to start languaging that. You have to start believing that, even when you don't see it, because it is there.
Yeah.
And it's just that you have to become that magnet that draws it to you.
Got you. Oh,
Your business
looks like we've lost. Are you back?
Are you back? We're on. I'm on. Our business growth is an evolutionary process.
Yes.
And we have to allow ourselves that room to grow in that process. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be always up. It's going to be a series of ups and downs. But if you are persistent and you allow yourself that flexibility, you learn some very valuable lessons along the way.
Yeah.
And then you can make money. And then when you make money, you know how to duplicate the process. And the 5-pillar system, you talk about my silk stocking method in the beginning. That method came about because of my own personal growth and experience with money and how I learned through my experience in corporate America how to utilize tax laws to protect my money and to actually accelerate the growth of my investments.
Wow.
And I mean, I learned so much. I mean, the company literally was a blessing and a curse at the same time because I hated corporate America.
Right.
I did not fit. I was around, the square peg in the round hole. Get it. But it provided me with a very solid foundational understanding of financial management, investment strategies, tax laws that could benefit everyone. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy or not. And it's really the disparity comes from the inaccessible, not being able to access the information. That's where the gap lies.
Okay.
With somebody who has wealth and money and someone who doesn't is not able to access the same type of information to have it. So
I think that's a very point to make because a lot of times we tell each other all you have to do is read. You can just look it up. You can just find the information, but you're right. In some instances, there is that delineation between do you have access to actually knowing those loopholes and how to apply those things into your life, because there is definitely systems and processes that the wealthy employ that are not passed down informationally. So God bless you for being a conduit and sharing that information.
Yeah, well, I was one of those ones that came through a family that did not discuss money issues. We didn't talk about money. We didn't talk about investments. We didn't talk about having a financial future. We didn't talk about money at all. Okay, so everything that I learned came from my perception of what money was and how it was to be used. And a lot of the socioeconomic gaps or disparities are because of that type of upbringing. See, wealthy people have one thing that they all do. They share information amongst each other, and they ensure that their financial futures are protected by setting up various structures to ensure that they never lose that generational wealth. Okay? This is not something that typically African American families do. And so I became very passionate about some of the instruments that I learned about, and being able to share that. But of course, in order to do that, I had to become licensed. I had to become a licensed insurance agent. I had to get credentialed in certain things, and to be able to share the information. Just to share it, okay? So this is how...
When you knew it, you still
because I had to be licensed to share it. Yeah, so I went and I said, okay, well, if that's the way it's got to be, then let me get my license.
Right.
And then I can talk about it, and then I can share it. And then I can, educate people and empower people on how to structure their financial legacy. And I always talk about building a legacy. People work hard every day making that money, but they don't have a plan for a financial legacy that they can pass on, that is going to go from one generation to the next.
Right. That is something that, as I'm taking notes to recognize that you do have to think generationally. It's bigger than you. Our life, our purpose, our reason for being created is bigger than what do I get in this moment. And, the Bible speaks about 4 generations of wealth after you, And so when you are in a circle of individuals that A, share information amongst themselves, and then B, put structures in place to make sure that those assets are protected moving forward from generation to generation, I can definitely see how that's biblical and why that would continue to work, And another side note that I just value so much is anything that you are passionate about, get your certifications in those things. Continue that level of education that it requires so that you can be an expert in your field. I started doing hair in the garage. So no judgment on where you start, But once you recognize that in order for me to elevate myself to a different level, I have to make myself available to the information, go through what is required of me, pay Caesar what he is due, operate in the law of the land so that my blessings are protected and so that, I don't cause unnecessary issues for myself. So deal with licensed professionals in the areas that are important to your life. That's basically every area. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Make sure whoever you're dealing with has done their due diligence and cares enough about what they're doing to have taken those additional steps to continue their education. So I want to talk about this silk stocking method, Ms. Kim. Tell me what that entails.
Well, the silk stocking method was created because of my own personal experience with developing a wealth legacy for my son. And of course, taking what I had learned over the years in the financial services sector, and utilizing those laws to use the instruments that protect your wealth. Now, one of the specific instruments that a majority of wealthy people use is an insurance policy. Now, I'm not talking term policy. Term policies, there are some that will have what is called a cash reserve buildup on them, but it's so nominal that it doesn't make an impact. It actually, doesn't even reimburse you for the premiums that you pay over the time. So it's really not a financial tool. It's not a tool. It's really just a temporary mode of protection. What I specialize in is what is called max funded policies. max funded policies are policies that allow for cash reserve buildup, but they also allow for the company to pay you a dividend, a quarterly dividend, and also to accumulate interest on that dividend or on the cash reserve. So every time you pay a premium, a portion of that is going to your cash reserve. And as you're building over time your cash reserve, you're getting paid on that with interest and dividends. So there's a double compounding going on there, right? Which is phenomenal because basically they pay more than you can get from a bank today. So the average rate currently on most max funded policies are anywhere from 7 to 8% annually, which is great because considering you get less than 1% on a checking or savings account at a bank. I'm not a big fan of banks, but I use them to filter money, to channel money, right? Okay, so a bank is not a safe, well, let me backtrack that. Let me retract that statement. A bank is great for exchanging money. Okay. It's a great method to exchange money, okay? However, make note that the interest rates on that are very, very low. Very, very low.
And the fees are ridiculous.
The fees are incredibly ridiculous. And at the end of the day, if you're looking at the interest rate versus the fees, you're actually paying the bank to hold your money for you.
Wow.
While they take your money and invest it in the markets. They invested in real estate. And they invest the money that you place in their hands. So I'm always very cautious of my money and how much is actually in a bank system because I understand what they do with the money. And if they're going to use my money, I want to make sure I get a return, good return or a decent return on that investment. Wow. Because I'm investing in them when I put my money in their bank, right? I remember
the tip on banks is to use banks. And what I'm hearing from you and that I love is the word tools, because when you know how to use something, you can maximize its full potential. So a bank is a tool that needs to be used as an exchanging, filtering situation, but not necessarily as a housing place where you're going to grow your money. Right? Let me write that down.
That's not how I prefer to do it. And I don't, this is not how I counsel my clients. Actually, what I do is help my clients to develop their own personal banking system. And so that's what the silk stocking method does. The silk stocking method helps you to utilize certain tools to create your own banking system so that you can use the money that is within that system when you want, and you don't have to pay the bank an interest fee. So we systematically create this personal banking system where you can save for your college kids or allow money to grow for your kids' college fund, your dream vacation, maybe to buy another home, maybe you want a luxury car, or you just want to have a comfortable retirement, right? This is the perfect structure in order to do that, to build that kind of wealth and to do it quickly. Okay. The beauty of it is within the silk stocking method, these tools are tax-free. So that means that your money is not being taxed as it grows. In a max funded account, your money is growing tax-free. When you actually take the money out or borrow the money from yourself, you're not taxed on that money. Wow. And if you pass, God forbid, before your time, the money is not taxed to your heirs. So these are all tax-free instruments. And you know what I tell people all the time? Don't get mad at the rich because they're not paying as much taxes as everybody else. The bottom line is this: we all have the same playbook. Learn the rules of the game. Play the game according to the rules, and you can benefit just as well as they can, even though you're not in that top 1%.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
We gonna get there though.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. So
Yeah.
it's really important. It's really important to understand that you all have the same playbook. We all do. The IRS didn't create a book for the wealthy and then create a book for the not so wealthy. There's one book where we can all play by those rules. If we play by those rules, we can benefit and we can protect our money.
How do you reconcile that statement with the previous statement where information is available but people don't have access to it? So even if there's a playbook, if I don't have access to that book, although we're all playing the same game, how do you reconcile those statements?
Well, the reconciliation comes with the professionals, and for me, professionals in the industry that have the information that will share it. Just share it and not be necessarily looking for a payday on it, because it's not about all the time, well, can I sell this information or can I, no, this is information that could be helpful. I don't have to always make money off of it. You understand? And I think a lot of it being withheld is being withheld because if they can't monetize it, they don't want to share it. And so I think it's on the onus of the professionals in the industry to take a step forward and say, look, I'm going to educate my community. I'm going to educate and empower this circle of women and entrepreneurs who are looking to build wealth in a different kind of way. I'm going to take it up on myself to step into that role, be that champion that says, hey, this information is available to you. Let me explain to you how this really works.
Yeah,
and
because
so
the reality of that perspective is so convoluted to feel like I have to withhold information, because ultimately what happens is when you empower someone via education, there's going to come a level where I will still need you, right? That's the goal.
Right.
The goal is for me to have the basic fundamental tools so that I can get the legwork started. But there's going to come a place where I'm going to have to reach out to a professional, So when I'm searching for who should I use, I'm going to go to the person that was willing to share with me, when I didn't have it to pay her or pay him, because and at that point, it's like, I'm serious about it. I've done what you said. I've researched it. I've applied it to my life. And now I'm at this space. I can pay you for your services. I understand the value that you bring, and so you actually shoot yourself in the foot when you withhold foundational information from someone. That's the equivalent of like having a hair consultation, right? I always tell my new clients, have a consultation. If your new stylist will not do a consultation with you, that's not your stylist. You should be able to talk about what your goals are. You should be able to discuss your concerns. You have to feel like together we're going to help me reach my ultimate healthy hair goals. So if you can't have that foundational conversation, you may need to look elsewhere for information. When to make your decisions. I have a quick question for you, because obviously people are going to hear this and be like, I don't have any money to invest right now. I don't have no money to put in nobody's stockings, okay? Because I got to pay these bills. Hello. So all my stockings monies is paying bills. So how do we start if you're working for someone and you're already tight right now financially, and you're trying to figure out like I can't even get to the end of the month without prayer and supplication and ramen out here for the Lord. So what are the bare fundamental tools that you can start with? So because I love that you say you can build wealth quickly. So how do we start, no matter where you are financially, whether you have money or whether you feel like you don't? Where do we start?
Okay. The first step is self-assessment, acknowledging your situation. What I find is with many of the clients that come my way, I hear these excuses. I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money. How am I supposed to save? And how am I supposed to do this? But when I start looking at their budget and their finances and their expenses, man, do I find tons of holes. You understand? So it's not that you don't, it's that you won't. You have to take a step to say, okay, this is a vice I can cut back on, or this is something that I can scale back and put this extra money into this pot, or maybe I don't really need this right now. I could actually wait on it later, making conscious decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Sacrifice? You want us to not get the immediate gratification, like right now? Like, you want me to wait on stuff? Like, what? You want me to be an adult and make other responsible decisions? I really have, so basically.
Well, when your financial future is at stake, absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta ask the question, is this worth my financial future? Do I need this or do I want this? Understand the difference between the two, because wanting it is different from needing it. Needing it, you have to have that thing, but wanting it, you don't really need it. You can put it off for a few weeks, or maybe not even invest in it at all. Now, I always say money spent is lost. Money spent is lost. You lose the value of that dollar when the moment you spend it, the moment it exchanges hands for whatever it is that you want. You'll never see a return on that investment once it's gone. You'll never see a return on that. So think about it for a moment. If you decided that instead of 5 Starbucks, you say it's 5 work days in a week, and you every day go to Starbucks. I have a best friend who does this. She does it every single day. She goes to Starbucks and gets a venti. She spends that money and she loves it, and that's her vice, right? She's got to have it. That's her need. When we tallied up how much that cost her every year, she was completely shocked. She just did not, she was totally unaware that she was spending that much money on Starbucks venti every single day. And so when she looked at that, she said, well, maybe I don't need it every day. Maybe I could just make some coffee at home a couple of days and then treat myself. You understand? Yeah. So you start reassessing when it's brought to your realization. Now, unfortunately, we are a society with that have the attitude of we're so consumed with having. We have to have everything that comes out, everything new, the latest bag. And I'm gonna tell you, this is my rule of thumb. I live by this. If you cannot buy 5 of them with cash, you cannot buy 1 of them with a credit card.
Message.
If you cannot pull out five amounts of whatever it is you're about to spend on that bag in cash, out of your in cash. If you can't buy it with cash 5 times the amount, you do not need to put it on a credit card, because this is what is going to happen if you do put it on a credit card. By the time you pay that minimum balance off, at the percentage rate that you're paying, let's say the average percentage rate is anywhere from 12 to 14% right now. Some people with bad credit have 25% and more on a credit card. Okay, just keeping it real. You have paid 5 times that amount just for that one purchase on that credit card over time. So you have lost that value. That money is gone. You have given the banks just what they need by paying the minimum balance. The minimum balance. Okay. So I take a look at all of these things, and especially with my clients that have a lot of credit card debt, we go over how to systematically pay that debt down, get rid of it, and how to challenge themselves to find ways, creative ways to enjoy the same kind of experience, but at a discount. Okay. And that's just not being frugal. That's being real about your financial future. That's about securing, your retirement and securing your legacy for your children, and not, leaving a legacy of debt for them. And again, when you have instruments that are in place that help protect that, it will buffer some of the financial burdens and expense, if something should happen to you.
And I think it's really important that the way we think about what we're doing is either going to help us to keep moving forward, or cause us to self-sabotage. Because look at this process as a punishment. Like, I can't have Starbucks anymore because, and now you're being punished, versus looking at it as this is a form of love for myself. It's not only that I can do it, but right now I know that it's not what's best for me. It's the exact same thing with working out or deciding to eat better or removing yourself from toxic relationships. It's what we live in such a society where everything is gluttonous, and you want the most. Have you ever eaten at Hash House a Go-Go and seen the sizes of those plates? You are like, who is supposed to eat all of this food? But if we don't sit there and eat all of it, and then you're sick after, and then you're mad when you get on the scale, or you have this self-hatred towards yourself, like why don't you have any self-discipline? Sacrifices and consequences, even those words are amoral. They don't necessarily have a negative connotation attached to them, so if we're able to look at the decisions that we're making as this is a positive thing, this is a step in the right direction for me to have the life that I want to have, it's good for me to eat better. It's good for me to get up and work out. The hard things aren't easy.
That's right.
The hard things are not easy, but eventually they don't become hard anymore because it's life,
That's
so in that assessment of what we're doing and recognizing, like, here is where my money is going. Here are my lifestyle habits. What is the emotion that's connected to this habit? What is it that makes me feel like I have to do this every single day? What mental space am I in when I'm making these decisions? Because when you can deal with the root cause of it and we can heal from those places, then money ain't a thing, right? I don't have to do it. And it's not punishment for me because now I'm not getting coffee because I'm dreading going to work and I hate my job, or I like, that's really why if I don't have my coffee, I'm popping off on everybody, right? Because really, who needs coffee like that in the morning? I have to have my glass of wine at the end of the night or I'm just going to have a breakdown. That's bigger than spending money on the wine, right? There's something that we have to deal with inside, work on that, and it'll translate into the rest of our lives. I want to kind of pile everything that you have into this little bit amount of time, but I really quickly want you to talk about your new book that's coming out October the 5th. It's dropping, called A Dime to My Name. Please share on that, and then give everybody information on how to get in contact with you and reach you. Please follow Kim Harris. If you want to be great in this life, follow Kim Harris. Like, seriously.
Yeah, the new book is dropping on October 1st in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is based on my story and experience with domestic violence and sexual assault. It's called A Dime to My Name. It is really my heart work. It is really the soul of who I am today and why I do what I do. And I hope that, everyone who reads it will find some inspiration in it. We are having a VIP book launch on October 20th. You can actually pre-order the book still. It's at kimharris.lifebusinesslegacy.com. And you'll also see a link for the book launch event if you wanted to join us there. It's a free event. I invite you to join us and just honor our sisters or survivors of domestic violence by wearing purple. So I'm really excited about it,
That is amazing. I hope to have you back on here soon and continue the conversation. I find everything that you have shared with us just so incredibly valuable. And I can tell that there's so much more that we can delve into. And the biggest thing from you this week and even from Carl last week was that self-assessment. Assess where you are, be honest with yourself, because you cannot grow if you're lying to yourself. And it's a painful thing to do. It's not easy to be truthful with yourself about this is really where I am. But when you see that place, that's when God can do that good work and we can start making those changes and adjustments. Please follow Kim the Legacy Creator. She is on Instagram at Kim_the Legacy Creator. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right here on right here on Facebook at Kim Harris. If you're on my page, you'll see her and you can just follow her directly. Don't forget that her website is kimharris.lifebusinesslegacy.com.
That's right.
And don't forget that A Dime to My Name, you can pre-order it right now via that website. I think it's a great book club book. If you guys are in a book club for the month of October, it's a great book for that. October 20th is her VIP launch party. So please avail yourself to this information and let us work towards becoming our best selves holistically. Spirit, soul, mind, body, finances. That is what God created us for. Follow me too. Let's be friends. We're not already. At Shema Kitchen is my everything. And Beautiful Purpose Concepts, of course. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to spend your Wellness Check Wednesday with you. We are speaking wellness over your finances today, wellness over your life, wellness over your heart, wellness over your mind, peace and blessings, love and light to your family. You guys be great. Thank you, Miss Kim.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.